Welcome to Riverbend Talon on WBGZ. Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
Also brought to you by Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Smart Choice Auto Sales. He insures a lot of those. He does.
That guy gets around.
He does. He changes jobs every month. Smart move when you're selling insurance, you know. You just move around, new clients wherever you work.
There you go.
He's not working there, but he told me to mention it. We were driving around in Julie's. We were driving around in Julie's Jeep. I got to drive it.
Ooh,
it's a Jeep thing.
Yeah, it jumps pretty high. I was really surprised how high I got that thing off the ground. But
yeah,
we went by Smart Choice Auto.
Yeah,
and
checked out the scene.
Yeah.
Right on. So did you that real big hill right around the corner from his house that heads out to 255? You just take that Jeep down that gully as fast as you could.
Well, I tried to get to the chair. On that thing. You climb a bluff.
Yeah.
It's a Jeep.
It's a Jeep.
We had to stress test it.
Testing the rear end for stress factors here.
Apparently, she's got good insurance.
Yeah, I bet she does.
We got good guests.
We've got the most hideous gentleman in the house that you've ever seen. If you like hideous gentlemen, do we have the thing for you? Welcome back to the show, Mr. Jared Umfried.
Hey guys, good to be back.
And Rob McDonald. It's not Ronald McDonald. It's so close.
You have to say that to remember it. That's right.
Yeah.
Did you get that growing up?
Yeah, it brings back old childhood memories of.
Sure.
Can I get a Big Mac?
No.
No. It's like
mine was unfried because it's how it's spelled.
Sure, man. Jared Unfried. You ready to get fried, dude? Because
get fried, man.
Being unfried is just so yes.
Like
get with it, you know. Get with it.
I got a Big Mac once that was unfried.
Yeah, an unfried Big Mac.
Fried chicken.
Now I'm picturing like Ronald McDonald's home life. You know him like like what does he do in his downtime?
300,
unbuckles
600
the clown
pounds.
pants and sits down there, puts his hand down, flips on the remote control.
Sure.
Watches it.
Get me a beer. Get me a beer. Then his daughter's going out and he's like, not without more makeup on. You're a McDonald.
Yes. Make sure you get fries with that.
I've seen him doing a sea shanty. Down at Morrison.
Remember at the Walmarts and stuff, they used to have the Ronald McDonald sitting in a chair or whatever, and you'd sit next to him and try to feel not creeped out.
Well, you might have tried to feel not creeped out. I was trying to get creeped out as I could, man. I thought that was the point.
Take advantage of it.
Love it.
Creepy clown. Uh-oh.
We are talking about the Hideous gentlemen tonight who have a couple shows coming up. The first one at Riverbend Records, right? December 9th?
No, quite. No. Well, reverse, though. We got to stop the...
I got it backwards?
Bag it up.
Jacoby Arts Center this Saturday, the 3rd.
Yeah.
Which I can understand the confusion because it is a very short notice show. We're actually filling in for another band that dropped out.
Right, a super group.
A super group. That's the second time I heard that today. That's funny.
It's like Fleetwood Mac.
Don't Get Dead.
Heard about that today.
Yeah,
Don't Get
McFay.
Dead was the... Yeah, but I heard about McFay going, she got dead. And that's always what she... So, yeah, the original band was called Don't Get Dead, and they're not playing. That's actually another one of my bands. I played drums in that band.
Not bad.
So,
Camp Climax for Girls. Who was...
No, it's 33 on the Needle.
No.
Oh, which one?
The people in the Don't
The
Be,
super group.
Well, yeah, Steve is from Camp, and Your Dukes, if you remember Your Dukes, awesome band, which is a super group in its own right almost.
Right.
I remember them.
And Brad Green, Jeremy, a singer, and Chris Hinkle from Piasaw plays guitar, baritone guitar at that. So it's quite heavy, it's pretty angsty. We're all bummed that we couldn't do the show, but unforeseen circumstances couldn't do it. So as kind of just a favor, not wanting the show to fall flat, we volunteered ourselves and the rest of the band, it's just didn't really ask. We just said, we're going to do it. We're going to make it work.
So that's this Saturday at Jacoby's Arts Center, right?
Yeah, music at 8 o'clock.
See, I always work 2 weeks ahead.
Right.
So I don't even know what day it is today.
Right.
I think it's 1 today, isn't it?
Yeah, we're starting already December.
First?
Yeah.
Wait, it's December?
Today is 1.
2022, you say, huh? We were talking about this the other day. Yeah, it tends to go by.
Suddenly I had some deja vu. I looked at you, I'm like, I think we just did this bit yesterday.
We've been practicing, rehearsing a little bit.
So did we tell our audience which members of Hideous Gentlemen we have and which are missing?
Well, we talked about Mr. Jared Unfried.
Right. We did.
And Rob McDonald.
Right. We just missed who was missing.
Well, that's Doug and Dave.
Doug and Dave
that's the
couldn't
twins.
make it tonight. Yeah.
Double D's.
The double D's.
Double D's. The rhythm section, as they are.
Yeah.
They're down at the sea shanty sing-along probably at Morrison's.
Hanging out with
be.
Ronald McDonald.
I would be. If Big Pen didn't make me come here.
But they'll be here. They'll be here this Saturday at Jacoby, and looking forward to that. It's gonna be some angstier, kind of louder music, which is what we don't always play, but we do have plenty of that in the repertoire. So we're kind of picking and pulling from some of our heavier stuff, which is fun to do because we don't always do it.
Right.
Yeah, and you're with 33 on the Needle, and a band from Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah, the Daughters of St. Crispin, which I believe they're a two-piece on tour. Not always a two-piece, it's a two-piece on tour, but I don't know how they're doing it, but they're pretty heavy. They're pretty cool. 33, the guys from Autumn Clock, which, man, I was just at 2 Saturdays ago at the Conservatory. I mean, packed, full house.
I see a video of people getting thrown out of there.
Did you?
Well,
Are you joking?
It was Kevin Angel. I think it was a stunt.
That doesn't
pretty sure.
count.
But those boys kind of reformed and did it, and man, everybody there said it felt like 92. And then there was there was probably 200 people in there, which is great to see any local band pull that many people.
Absolutely.
Great.
That's just an estimate in case a fire marshal.
It's just an estimate, probably exactly fire code, whatever that is.
I'm not sure how many were in the bathroom, actually.
Yeah.
A lot of those 200 were outside.
Yeah.
You know, they rotated perfectly.
It's a guesstimation at best.
I heard it was perfectly comfortable in there, and everybody felt completely safe, is what I heard.
You just leave the music store open on those nights, and
we have a good crossover. Right. We all try to stay open to at least a couple hours, so there is a crossover during the week where all three, the tattoo shop, the music shop, and the conservatory are all open. Everybody can kind of in and out, see everybody at least for a little bit,
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's like a little corner. You guys have got that little corner, and you're just ready to expand it and turn the whole city into
rock and
I
roll, man.
know the city gets out of that back parking lot.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Looking to expand, buy more buildings. We're just going to grow. We're going to grow it.
Mila Ray Duffy down at the Conservatory tonight at 8.
Yep.
She was there last night. I was actually at the open mic last night.
Right, open mic every Wednesday.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Hosted by Spilly Nelson.
Yep. Josh
Sponsored
and Drew
by
from Spilly Nelson.
Alton Music Exchange.
That's right.
And Tattoo Place.
Piesaw Body Art.
Piesaw, yeah.
There you go.
And it is a fun time. I mean, it's been to a lot of open mics, seen a lot of open mics kind of come up. And everybody kind of fizzles out, man. This one's been going strong over a year, and it gets better every. Last week he got up there by himself, was doing songs by himself. It was awesome. What'd you do? What songs did you do?
Runaway Train, Soul Asylum, and then I did Alva Door by Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, this is Smashing Pumpkins.
It's not typically an acoustic. It's a pretty
right.
heavy metal bass drum.
I always thought that Runaway Train song was Tom Petty when I was younger.
Oh, really?
It sounds
Yeah.
so much like it. He could have wrote it. It's not. I know it's not. I know it's
does
not.
sound
It's
a lot
so
like
close
Petty,
to
though.
Yeah. I'm not even mad at it. It's just like it confused me a lot when I was a kid.
All the pictures of the lost kids on milk cartons. If you remember the video, they're showing all the kids missing.
Right.
It's like made people think. It's like, oh, there's a lot of runaway kids out there.
Well, yeah.
And this was 90.
Not all of them were runaways. Some of them were probably abducted. I mean, I'm just saying you were kind of jumping to an unknown there by saying they were all. No, I don't know. I'm just talking.
What's the other one? Remember what we were talking the other day? It was Bowling for Soup and Fountains of Wayne. Remember the Stacy's Mom song?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then the 1985 song.
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't even Bowling for Soup either. They didn't even write that. SR-71 wrote that, and they just recorded it. So their two biggest hits they had, they didn't even write them. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, I think that's that way with a lot of
Elvis songs.
Yeah, I was going to say
Elvis?
all artists until Buddy Holly. They didn't really get to write songs before Buddy Holly, did they? So
it's bizarre, man.
Yeah.
There's an open mic down at Ragin' Cajun tonight.
Yeah, I heard that one's been doing really good too.
Yeah.
I haven't been to it yet.
Jamie Dunn probably
right.
still taking care of that one from Birds of Squalor. Mm-hmm. The Birds of Squalor fame.
I always love that name. Love that name.
I dig their group. They Chris Vandehee plays guitar, and Jamie Dunn's singing all this real heavy stuff, and then Chris is just so goofy. He does banter behind him that sometimes makes no sense at all. And I love it.
We can all understand that, right? We all do that.
It's like there's this side of it that almost feels like they're taking it serious, and then this other guy going, "Nope, just so you know, it's all just for fun."
I don't think you get. There's a level of professionalism I think you need to maintain, but taking it serious, not so much, man. Like if you're not having fun, man, good Lord.
You only want to take it serious enough to remember what song you're playing, and to try and not screw up the rest of the band. Right. Or, you know what I mean?
And I do that sometimes just for fun. Dave, the bass player, fantastic musician all around, but he plays with his eyes closed, and rarely will he open his eyes. And sometimes I try messing with him just to get him to pay attention. Like, hey, man, just for fun. Hey, look at me, man.
Peekaboo, Dave.
Peekaboo. We love you, Dave. We miss you if you're listening.
Yes.
I was jamming out one night, had my eyes closed. I was just totally into it, and someone walked up and stood right there, and I had my eyes closed and opened my eyes. It scared me, and I fell.
You should grabs your heart. And you're like, oh my God.
I went up to me and my wife walked into Aries Winery. This is a couple years back. Beautiful day.
Yeah, because you can't walk into Aries anymore. You got to take that gondola to get up to the.
We drove up
Sounds
to
fancy.
it at that time. You could drive up the hill to it or whatever, but we walk in and we can clearly hear Graham Pagano's songs, but it's coming through speakers. And where is he? We know he's playing, and
he's playing at George's local brew tonight until 9.
This particular night, he's at Aries, but we're there's multiple rooms, and we can't find him. And finally, we walk in and there's people at the bar and here and there. We walk into this room, and it's empty except him, and he's got his eyes closed singing. And we let him finish his song, and then we start clapping, and he jumped out of his skin. He didn't fall over quite like Dennis, but he jumped. And he's like, oh, God, I know it. You're there.
But he wasn't here watching me.
Yeah, something was behind me. So as soon as I jumped, I tripped over
Hit the wall.
whatever.
Oh,
it was a nice soft fall, And it's
graceful.
And hilarious
Plummet.
at that point, It wasn't like mic stand going up my
right. Yeah.
back.
Wazoo.
I've lucked out. I know this be terrible, but I've lucked out and never hurt myself on stage.
Yeah.
Definitely tripped up wires and stuff. I always thought everything would be wireless by now, but it's still cables. Definitely tripped up. We were playing at the Conservatory a couple of weeks ago, and I was just sound checking. We were playing everything. Hey, you good? You good? You good? And I did this 3 or 4 times. Went in a circle, and I realized I completely wrapped myself up with my cable. So I'm trying to go in reverse to make it happen. I can't move my arms.
Did you walk backwards or did you turn around?
Tried to
go
retrace
backwards?
my steps. It was difficult.
I'm dizzy now.
Yeah.
I always liked a cord attached to me. It felt like, it kept me in place,
Right.
and wander
You're
off too
tethered.
far.
Yeah, otherwise you end up next door eating steak with some people you don't know in the middle of a song. I'm
need
just
a
saying.
retractable
In the
cord,
bathroom,
Like a tape measure, just have a retractable cord. Rip back in there. Only gives you as much as you need.
I'm sitting here thinking, I think I've suffered many injuries on stage, mainly internal. Like my pride would get hurt. I'd be like, oh, this is not
irreparable
going good.
Damage.
Yeah, this is not good. My band's looking at me like they hate me. This is not good.
Yeah.
Speaking of Graham playing for no one, who hasn't been there? I mean, everybody's played out, but definitely played for no one. And or you're sitting there and you're playing, especially around the baseball season where everybody's really interested in the screen. You find yourself playing And you're watching the screen. You're like, man, and you're trying, because sometimes you give up trying to get their attention. And you're like, well, man, how the cards doing?
Right, when in Rome, shoot Roman candles.
You know,
Try to listen to the game.
What about
just start singing play by play?
Yeah.
See if I notice.
That's what I did.
Well, strike one.
Yeah, exactly.
Strike two.
You gotta be kidding me! That was outside.
Could be a new song.
Oh, I'll put it on my list of things to do. That's good.
See, I like to have them put the game up right behind me, so it looks like everybody's looking at me, and sometimes for no reason there's just a big cheer, and I feel like they're cheering for me. You know.
I just missed that chord. Why are they cheering?
Right. I totally missed that chord, and they think it's great, so I'm just going to go with it.
Spare me your sympathy cheers.
Yes.
Oh
Support.
man. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the show this weekend.
Yeah,
though. Like I said, it was
definitely.
short notice, but
Yeah, Jacobys
Jacoby-
has a great sound and great studio too. I mean, great stage. You know, it's a really
the
cool place
space
to
is
play.
great. The sound. It's a big room. It can always be difficult. But I think they've got that all.
Yeah.
All good to go. It's a big
Yeah.
space.
They-
So
they-
it can be
and-
difficult with the sound.
And then, so like years ago, they had it where the stage is right in front of the glass windows, but they've moved
Yeah, I
that
remember that.
back to the other side now because it was kind of like your monitors would get a slap back off the glass. And then
it can be
there'd always
difficult. It can be a difficult room, but it's a great space. So they're making it work really good.
Are they still recording
Awesome.
the open mics? They were doing that.
They
for-
are. Absolutely are, yeah. Mhm.
So what
Damien's
about like
taking care of
shows
that.
like just any random show,
They
like
gonna
on a
record it?
Saturday? They record those too. Like
I think as of right now, they're doing everything.
Yeah, okay.
Now, when it comes down to, you have to talk to Justin and Damien about it, how they're actually going to separate it and what they're going to do. Because
Yeah.
eventually
Catalog
you're just
it.
going to build up hours and hours and
You gotta have
hours.
somewhere to save
of
it.
it'd be like
stuff. How you
Butch
gonna-
Moore, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Butch Moore's got like a whole house that he bought just to keep cassette tapes from open mic nights at the Stagger Inn.
Really?
Because he's done it for 30 years and
Yeah.
taped every one of them.
Oh, man. I bet that's some,
Yeah.
I bet there's
That's
some great stuff on
dedication.
there.
Exactly.
Man, if you
Yeah.
could
Think how
find the
many-
dedication
That's much
to
bigger
go
than my
back
cassette
through
tape
it.
collection.
Oh, yeah.
Think how many names have played that Stagger in open
No.
mic on Sundays?
Dream of mine is starting to play there back in the early 2000s. Was always wanted to be on the wall, all the pictures. I don't think there's any more room for anybody, and we haven't really played there since. No, we haven't played there since
couple
COVID.
years.
Since
Yeah,
COVID.
Since COVID.
They got a real slow start back up, but I
They did.
guess they're in full swing now.
I think
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are. I think
They've been
they
doing the happy hours for sure, and slowly extending the Sunday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What he used to say, naked by 11. Now he's saying something like naked by 9 or something. I don't know.
Well,
Much more.
the older you get, the quicker you want to get naked. The more you realize clothes are just to keep me warm, and I'm inside now, baby. I know,
Naked
I know.
first, questions later.
Well, the baby going to keep you warm.
The clothes and curtains, that's just for other people, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to freak everybody out. Oh, so hey, let's run over what's happening.
Well, I got most of Thursday done, so
Did
the
ya?
only ones I
Man,
didn't mention
You've
was
been sneaking them in.
Yeah, I'm doing like baseball play-by-play.
Yeah, you've been getting them in.
Professional.
I don't think we got Spencer.
That one's just a bit outside across the line playing down at Fast Eddie's tonight from 7. Strike one called, and Spencer McDowell will be up at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville tonight from
Big
6 to 9.
Daddy's. We've done Big Daddy's a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That place is good.
Yeah.
Right on. What else we got going on there?
There's a
Mr.
low
Dennis?
one, so that's Mo Pleasure playing down at Patrick's.
Yeah. Got through 3 of them.
Okay. That's it. Well,
You're safe. You're safe at home on that one.
You
man.
seem to pitch that to me.
Well,
Pun intended.
Pun intended.
Harvest Drive also.
There you go.
Prairie Inn in Dorsey. And don't forget to mention the Experience Live Music Row. Not going to mention all the stuff going on, but man, great job out there in Belleville. Multiple venues, multiple bands, multiple nights. Been going on for probably over a year now. It's been,
It's been
been
quite-
going on a
at
long
least
time,
Early
so.
this year, so.
it's at least coming up close to a year. So, man, great job from the people up there in Belleville taking care of that one.
You know, they got the big show on Saturday at Jacobys, right, with the Hideous Gentleman, 33 on the Needle, and the band from Madison, Wisconsin, Daughters of St. Crispin. Is that a real saint?
That is the patron saint of puffed wheat cereal.
Okay.
That's what I see. I thought that's what it was.
I thought it was that or crackers.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, I knew it was a breakfast food.
right.
But on Friday night, they're going to have what's they do every first Friday, and that's meet and mingle with the artist. Rich Brooks going to be the one to mingle with. At least
you
one.
go.
That's from 6 to 8. And then a big show at the Conservatory on Friday. Fujiko, Tom Thanks, Inches from Glory, and Wise Disguise. 7 o'clock at the Conservatory in Alton.
There you go. Tom Thanks. I remember hearing about those guys.
86 Red they played with.
Is that what they... Okay, I was going to say, I remember hearing about those guys, but I've never seen
Cam and the Boys in 86 Red.
Yeah.
Band.
There you go.
And then Josh Grassley's new project, Paper Borders, at the Lodge at Lovejoy. 7:30.
Right.
Seems like the Lodge has been keeping pretty busy.
Yeah, they did a good job
Cool
last
place.
winter.
I'm sure they'll probably, inside, but they got the fireplace.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like a lodge, It's like, it should be skiing outside.
Yeah.
No, Mike
There's
Albers
that hill
plays
right
there.
behind
There
it. They could
is.
just have one straight down.
I know exactly what hill you're talking about.
We played on that hill, didn't we?
Yeah.
Didn't we play on
We
it?
did. I
right
didn't.
there?
It was right
You weren't in the
before I
band at the
started.
time. We played with the swag there, and it was like, cool, we're gonna play. And those are the nicest guys in the world. But they were like, well, you're not using our gear. It was like, well, and completely understandable. We had our own gear, so they had the nice stage area and all their sound gear, which is great, and they sound fantastic. We had like 4x8s on the grass in front of the hill with our stuff. It worked out great, and it was a great transition to the swag to play.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a great night.
They played down at the Lodge recently for a wedding.
Oh, yeah?
Heard about
Oh, no
that.
kidding.
Yeah.
Nice.
Heard about that.
Great band.
Grateful Dead wedding. They had like Grateful
Nice.
Dead cake and
Yeah, Kevin Angel got thrown out of that one too.
Well, it's...
It's a thing he's doing.
Yeah,
he sounds like trouble.
With a name like Angel, he's
a
going to
devil.
be trouble.
You know who's trouble?
Who's
Mr.
trouble?
Mr. Mephisto.
Is there some wrestling going on?
Yeah, there's wrestling going on at Spaulding Hall in Alton.
Look, here's the
Friday
thing.
night.
Here's the thing about Mephisto.
Yeah.
Like all the wrestler people that come in here, he's the only one. I'm just not sure if he's ready to really bite my head off.
I think
or not.
he is.
Like, I think he is too. Like the rest of them, they can be acting intense, but you feel like, this is just a character or whatever. And that guy, I'm just not sure. I really think, first of all, I think he just flat out doesn't really like me. He only comes down here for the promotions.
Did he say, I don't like you? In so many words?
I think he does. I think he has. I'd have to go back and watch the videos, but he sat right where you're at, and I'll be like, "Welcome to the show." He's like, "Yeah, whatever. Let's just get on with this. Here's what we got going on.
Yeah.
You just shut up for a
Yeah.
while." It's like,
So do you?
Man, we're too nice.
Is he in character or not?
Right?
Because
Yeah.
Hey,
he's
don't
probably
break character.
Yeah,
Don't break character.
he's really doing his job well. That's what I think's
I'm
going
playing
on.
a
there.
dude, playing another dude.
and then you brought up the whole. So there was one time we had some wrestling people in here, and a guy called the Judge was sitting right there, and I'm sitting right here, and there's a video of it. It's horrible.
It's great.
But we end up wrestling all the way out to the street, and it goes bad in the end. But anyway. Dennis brings that up to Mephisto, and Mephisto's like, "Oh, I won't play. Like, dude, I will take you out right now." And I'm like, I'm kind of scared. I don't
believe
know.
you.
Piss him off or something, did you?
And then his name's Mephisto, so
Right.
you don't even know what a special move is, but it sounds like it could be scary. I'm just
Would you
saying.
like my left fisto or my right fisto?
I don't want either one of them.
The right one don't get you, the left,
Left
one
one?
will.
Oh man.
Did you guys watch
Tons.
and are avid fans of wrestling?
I am an old school wrestling
Right.
fan. I just watched a documentary on Andre the Giant, who
I've
is the greatest
seen
wrestler
that. It
of
was
all
like an
time.
HBO documentary?
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
see
See
Yes.
the Iron Claw
Yeah.
film coming out.
Oh,
about
is it?
Von Erickson's.
Oh,
they're
there
doing
you
like
go.
a biop on it. It's going to be. I'm not a huge fan of modern wrestling, but there is just massive interest in the history of it, and I have a lot of respect for it. But
Yeah.
I can't say I did watch a ton of it growing up.
Yeah, Vice does like wrestling gone bad stories.
Yeah.
I forget what they actually
No,
call
that
it.
kind of
but
seedy drug
it's
side, that
pretty
side of it,
interesting
yeah.
stuff, though.
See,
You know,
like-
because there are wrestlers, and Andre was one of them, who decided that night whether you were going to beat him or not. Of course, no one beat him until Hogan did.
Yeah,
WrestleMania,
WrestleMania 3, yeah.
93,000 people.
Oh, wow.
That's a draw.
All the little Hulkamaniacs are going
Man, it
wild.
was so big at the time, man.
Yeah,
Eat your vitamins.
yeah.
Hulkamania gummies.
Oh man. Did you guys see those the Hulk Hogan sex tapes? Oh God.
No,
it's
I
horrible.
didn't.
No.
It's horrible. I'm just
Usually
saying.
pretty adamant about watching all those, but no.
Oh, it's the worst thing.
The
It's
Ultimate
like,
Warrior have a cameo?
oh my gosh, it's like
I'll tell you something worse than that. Getting caught in an elevator with Andre the Giant.
how would you even fit in there? I am the Twin Pirate Bob.
What if he passed gas?
That's right. And that's in this documentary.
Because I was thinking how much he would eat, like, you know.
They go around to a bunch of wrestlers, and all of them are trying to imitate the sound of what it sounds like. They're like, it goes on forever. And it's like some massive beast is coming out of the darkness.
You made him angry. I heard he could. I guess the size. What was his weight and height?
He got over 500, and he was 7'4".
Yeah.
They say he drank,
a pitcher
30.
of beer like a glass.
Yeah.
24 beers to start every night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you see a picture of his hand, like a beer doesn't like go past the top and the bottom.
Insane.
A normal size beer.
Little 12-ounce can was nice. Yeah. He could put like 3 cans in his hand.
Pinky up, Andre.
Right. Oh, man.
So how can you not be a fan of that guy?
I know, right?
Yeah. Well,
Go big or go home, right?
My kids will never even understand it. But like growing up, like in the 70s, we had like 3 channels. And, you didn't have, it's like, you didn't have a whole lot to do. And, wrestling at the Chase is on? Hell yeah. I mean, it was way better than, like, Days of Our Lives or whatever.
Right.
There weren't a whole lot of choices. No. So,
Channel 11 got a lot of viewing.
KPL,
yeah.
Channel 11 had all the wrestling stuff.
Did.
I remember
Absolutely,
the
man.
Yeah.
So,
Junkyard Dog and Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Oh! Mean Gene, man.
I got a lot of respect for all the I don't want to call them even amateur wrestlers. I don't know what the different leagues are and stuff, but it's a lot like musicians.
Dude,
it's so similar in how they do it, and sometimes it's more professional than others. Some people take it more serious than others. Some people are better than others.
So there's a group. What we were talking about is the pro wrestling epic, and they're going to be at the Spaulding Hall in Alton. Is that Friday night?
Yeah, Friday night.
$13 to $15.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get that in before I moved on with this. What's the Cottage Hills Wrestling Alliance? There you go. These guys came in, and we had gone to a few local wrestling things, and I go, I get the show, man. Like,
yeah, for sure.
And like I can't help but see it with a producer's eye, and you should do this, and for $100 you could make that better, or whatever. And when Dennis brought the Cottage Hills guys in, it was so much like a band because they started out, they didn't have no place. They did backyard wrestling.
Right.
Then it got winter, so they moved into their garage. And it was just like, and they were guys who were too small for, I think it was the main guy was too small that no wrestling place would take him, but he didn't care. I'll start my own wrestling just because you can't stop
no
me.
for an answer, man.
And it's like, I'm like, that is like me in a nutshell because it's like, you can't be in our band. You're no good. Well, I'll start my own band, man.
Focus and patience will get you. I really do feel like it'll get you anything.
Yeah.
Well, and now those guys got their own building in Cottage Hills. They do at least a once a week show that's
they practically sell out every Sunday.
Right.
3:30. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's a
YouTube show and everything.
And again, it's like a lot of art or whatever, but the wrestling thing, I never realized how close it was to the band thing.
It really is.
Yeah. If you love what you're doing. And here was one that I wrestling with my son when he was little. It's always the hardest thing is to not hurt him, but make him feel like it's real.
Yeah, right.
That's what they said.
Right. So we had Dan Severn on, or our dentist had Dan Severn on, and so Dan the Beast Severn.
Right.
And Dan's like he's what is he?
He's an Olympian.
He's an Olympian.
Oh, wow. Right. What do they call that? Ultimate Fighting Champion.
He's a champion. He's like a UFC champion, an Olympic champion, and a WWF champion.
Wow.
He's done all forms of wrestling, and he says hands down the WWF is the hardest. The what they call the fake wrestling.
Oh, really? Like
it is physically more challenging than the UFC. He said.
Wow.
And he's a champion of both, so he would know.
He would know. He'd be the guy.
Because instead of just going after someone and not caring, you want to, it's all about protecting you. You're lifting up, some huge guy and trying not to break his neck, but make it look super cool,
or break your neck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a lot of stunt men come out of wrestling or go into wrestling. Because those are straight up stunts like you see on movies and stuff that they're doing, rolling around and crashing and.
It is definitely entertaining.
And you can be
All the
entertained.
Feeling tainted.
Little slip of the lip.
Well, maybe.
That's the old Knights of Columbus Hall. They're going to be at their Spaulding Hall in right up the road here.
Yeah, that's the Pro Wrestling Epic, 5:30 tomorrow night.
Yeah. Also Friday, the Tragg Band at the VFW, pianos down at Ragin Cajun, Borderline at Fast Eddie's, and Lazy Lester out at Baker's and Hale in Godfrey.
There you go.
The
Also,
boys are doing real good, Lazy Link.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They do like just some
Absolutely.
cool select songs. You're like, I didn't think you could pull that off in a 3-piece format like that, but they do.
Yeah.
I
That's
saw
a great
Dan
job.
last night. He was at the open mic. Dan
Floyd?
Working on a
Yeah.
guitar of his on the
He's-
workbench
man,
today.
he's good.
Very nice.
He jumped in with somebody else's playing.
Yeah,
Right.
great
He's a really
guy,
good
man.
Right on. So Lazy Lester out at Baker's and Hale. Get you some good food while you're out there, too. Then we got Dustin Coleman at Laux Brickhouse in Bethalto Friday evening. Flipside's at the Moose in Wood River from 7 to 10 p.m. And then where we got Terry Grohman
Grohman and
There
Joe
you go.
Metzka.
Groham.
How do you
do
grow
it.
ham?
I don't know. Yeah, I threw a W in there. It seemed right to me.
But they'll be doing their Christmas set at 1818
Nice.
Chophouse in
that'd be
Edwardsville
cool.
from 7 to 10. And
Tis
then,
the season.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mike Sonderegger, most G's and R's and E's of anybody.
Sonderegger.
He'll be at the cabin at Judy Creek from 7 to 10. It's Down and Dirty weekend at Patrick's.
Nice.
They'll be there Friday and Saturday. Worth the Fight at Tegan's in Granite City, and Rock Box down at Deutsch Village in, I believe, Friday and Saturday. And in Collinsville, D's Notes. That's Scott Marlin and his son, Carter,
Ah, there you go.
from 7 to 10 at Lodi's Cafe in Collinsville. Scott Marlin's just off the hook.
Yeah,
Now, did
absolutely.
everybody giggle a little bit when you said these notes?
Yeah.
I did.
I changed the O with the U.
Right, there's a little.
We're all 14. Mentally,
I'm like
anyway.
13 and a half. actually.
That's one of my favorite things when we're reading this. When a new name comes up that makes me chuckle, I'm like, "Oh, somebody did good." There's a lot of the Hal, Thurston Howell. That one used to get me because I grew up watching Gilligan's Island. Yeah, but then like they got this like werewolf drinking a bunch of like a Thurston Howell, or what was the Pussycat and the Swallowtails? Just love that name.
Oh, that's a good
I don't
one.
even know who's in that band. I got to see him one of these days. But what a great
Try to
name!
come up with a good band name. At least one that everybody agrees on, you know.
Poor Dirty
yeah.
Astronauts has got to be.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's a great one. Great one.
Absolutely.
Seen them.
So what else we got? We got Joe Evans at George's local brew on Friday evening.
That's John.
Yeah, whatever. You don't know. Graham Pagano is at the
He does now.
Canton Inn in Hillsboro, 6:30 to 10:30. And then we've got, of course, the Experience Live Music Row going on in Belleville. Multiple venues all right by each other, hosting multiple bands.
The band Ish is playing.
What is that exactly? That's the second time I heard you say it.
Okay,
What
so-
is
so-
that?
so-
I haven't heard of this or
All
part
right,
of this.
so this is, I'll just give you a rundown of what it says here on my sheet for Friday evening. We've
Brought to you
got,
by Neutral Vodka. Just so you know up front, they have a sponsor.
Well, and that's not their first sponsor. They've
No.
gone through a few
Bud Light
sponsors.
was a
Bud Light,
sponsor.
yeah. Bud Next, I think, was their
Next,
first
yeah.
sponsor. So this evening you've got a band called Cheers playing 8 to 11 at
That's Friday, by the way.
Oh, Friday. I'm sorry. You got a band called Cheers playing 8 to 11 at the Copper Fire. There's a band called Ish playing from 7 to 10 at a club called 7. Naked Soul Acoustics going 6 to 10 at Bernie's Pizza. And then Andrew Binder Trio is going 9 till 11:30 at the Cigar Inn in Belleville. Most of that is like free to get into, but then there is a big venue called The Venue that they'll bring in like Nashville acts or something like that, and they'll charge a little extra to get into that. But it's going on, so it'll be that or more than that, and it's going on like, I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Wednesday through Sunday, and
There you go.
it's called Experience Live Music Row. So they're encouraging you to come down and bar hop through and
too
see
cool.
all the different things, and they're using the money from their advertiser to promote everything.
Awesome.
So the one starts at 6 and goes to 10. One starts at 7 and goes to 10. One starts at 8 and goes to 11. One starts at 9 and goes to.
There's a good overlap of everything.
Yeah. So
all working together, all the bars, and there's some that weren't on that list that jump in and out. You know, certain nights, like a Saturday night, there'll be another bar like the Venue on Main that adds to the list.
I like it. Wink, wink, Alton. Let's get something going here.
Well, I've been giving them big props.
Sponsors.
I've been giving it. Well, it takes more than just the sponsors. It takes the venues working together too, and I don't know who's promoting it or who's putting it together, but I give them big props because to keep something even this size going for this long, many days each week, it takes a lot of doing, man. You know,
Belleville's a little bit farther than we normally want to cover, but when we seen this come out, our first impression was, let's see how long they can keep this going.
Right.
Because it's Wednesday through Sunday, right? And it's a list.
That's
like
a lot.
That, and we're like
Nashville of Illinois, man.
Yeah, cool. So they did it. So good job this summer.
And the longer they stayed with it, the more it's like, okay, so Belleville's kind of out of our listening area, but we got to give some shout outs to this because what a great event. And the other, maybe there's somebody out there listening from another municipality going, oh, we could do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We could do that.
Wink, wink.
So there you go.
We got space here. Hell, they just had a meeting for the amphitheater here a week or two weeks ago, maybe.
Did you go?
You know what? I didn't go to it.
Go, no?
I was working at the shop.
Yeah.
Why? By the Daughters of St. Crispin, why not?
Nice one.
Sound like it went well, though.
That's good.
Sound like it went well.
That's good. I hadn't heard anything. So.
Things have been...
The 5th of December, I think, there is when they're making a decision. So
okay.
Remember the 5th of December.
Well, I can say seeing Earth Tones back down there was awesome because there was never a reason for it to not be down there other than pride.
And what do you mean by decision?
The Pride Fest, Pride
the pride of the people who were in charge of it and didn't want to take note of what was possible. Instead, they got scared and went, nobody else can do anything.
Well, someone was talking about they had leftover salmon there at one time or another.
Sarah.
Well, that's what it was. We were just talking about that, and it was like, let's do that.
Yeah, she killed it with that, and that was the last public thing done there, and then it was just shut down. Nobody from the public can get to it anymore.
So what was the meeting about and the decision you were talking about?
From my understanding, it was an open table for entities to come in and make a bid over control of not only the name but in charge of booking and promotion. Now, I'm sure there's way more into that, and I probably didn't even say it that well, but
so
my understanding...
They want to narrow it down to one person again, I guess.
Yeah, well, they want to get... This is the group, and I want to say the group is an Open Highway that does the stuff in St. Charles. I think they made a bid. Or Chesterfield,
okay.
They made a bid.
Hey, you know what?
They made a very fair bid, so hopefully that's going to kind of direction that a lot of people are kind of going, these are the guys we wanted.
So to me, there's a good and a bad there. It's like there's local people that can handle this. And why you're having to go outside of the city to find somebody that can handle that is ridiculous.
Well, that may be more for the national acts.
But that's the good of it is that getting somebody, because I see what happens in St. Charles, and their amphitheater isn't a lot bigger than ours. It was just built. It was built with the purpose of you can charge to get in, and it was just kind of built better to have bands. So. To hear that somebody that they're interested in coming, because that means there's going to be some good stuff brought in.
Yeah,
so I'll give it that. But
it's always every week during the season. I don't know exactly season, April to November maybe, but every weekend there should be something.
Absolutely.
At least once or twice a month.
Well, this Saturday there's something at Jacobys. You guys hear about it?
That's right.
You guys hear about it?
Is it December 3rd?
I got my ticket.
Yeah.
Music does start at 8, and it is $10 at the door.
Yeah.
I know that much.
3 bands, Hideous Gentlemen. 33 on the Needle.
33 on the Needle.
All the way from Madison, Wisconsin. And if you're a supporter of music, that means get out and support these guys. They're on tour. There's nothing tougher than that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
The Conservatory is having a lot of bands coming from out of town, and every time they come in, either they come into the shop, and I'm always trying to give them as good a deal as I can, or just help promote it. Because, these guys, most of them are living in the vans. I mean, it's not any easier than it was 30 years ago to do it. So we always try to help promote.
So that band is Daughters of St. Crispin, and you could be the one that caught them with Hideous Gentlemen in downtown Alton before they played,
and
River
from
Ford
when I've
Amphitheater.
checked out on them, man, they sound awesome. They sound awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember Pantera at Club 367 for $11.
Yep.
Coming with Metallica next year, I just heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$500
Zach
for the
Wiles
cheap
playing
ticket.
with Pantera too, man.
I heard the most expensive ticket for the Metallica upcoming tour was $7,000.
I see $500 for nosebleeds.
Oh man.
Yeah. I know.
2 nights.
Remember when we were into those bands and people were like, who?
Do I get to sleep with
are
Lars
those
for that
guys?
month?
I know, like, what do you pay for $7,000? Like, do I get to play with the band on stage? Like,
He'll let you play with his drumsticks.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like,
well, we were just talking about, there was a band that came to the amphitheater over the summer, and we were throwing out some numbers. Some numbers got around that they got paid $80,000 for this band. Okay. So we were like, well, what do you think? Say there's 5 people in the band. What do you think about $80,000 the guys in the band get, right? Because you got all the promotion and bus driving, and apparently the
crew,
the bus driving has been going crazy because they can't get them. It's like $60,000 a month to rent these things. So you wonder if they're ending up with like $5,000 a piece or something like that because of all of the other facets and cogs in that wheel that are all getting something. You put on shows, you guys know.
Oh yeah.
So maybe $80,000 doesn't seem like that, or it seems like a lot, but maybe it's really not.
That's for the amphitheater, right? Like over the.
Yeah, they were at the amphitheater
at the Riverport.
No, this was at.
Alton Amphitheater. Okay, there we go. That's what I was curious. I'm like, which amphitheater are we talking about here?
Amphitheater. Band came in. Well, I mean, it was Boys to Men. That's the numbers I heard. Boys to Men came down. Now, if you could take that $80,000 and cut that into 2 or 3 or 4 and get some bands that are maybe what's that hold down there, 4,000, something like that.
I don't know.
I'm not sure, but that's
plenty.
That's a lot. And I knew that, like, when I heard about the Boys Dementia, I'm like, well, of course that's not coming cheap because those guys.
I bet they were $40 or $50 a ticket. They're $55 even.
So that you familiar with J.J. Gray?
No.
Okay, it's J.J. Gray and Mofro. They're from Florida. They put out 5 or 6 albums. They played Chesterfield.
Right on.
Last time I saw them come to town, they played Chesterfield. They played the pageant, things like that when they come to town. They played in, let's see, what was it, I guess it was 2021 maybe. They were playing at the State Fair in DuQuoin, Illinois on Thursday.
I was born in DuQuoin, Illinois, by the way.
I'm so sorry.
I know.
I was born on a pirate ship.
Really?
I was born.
Pirate ship.
I got good pirate jokes.
So, wow. I got to hear the pirate jokes. I don't even care about what I was talking about.
Oh, really?
Anymore.
You really want to hear the pirate joke?
Are you kidding?
Oh. Okay, why did the pirate not take a shower before he walked the plank?
Why?
Why? Because he was just going to wash up on shore later.
See, this was way better than whatever I had.
What's a pirate's favorite letter?
R.
Yeah, you think it's R, but really it's the C. Speaking of pirates, got a message the other day. I believe the group is called Flotsam.
Yeah.
And we might have talked about this, and they are. I'd have to read it verbatim, but it's
gosh.
we are a group of musician, artists, and circus performers who are traveling downriver on a ramshackle raft, I think is the actual words they used, performing for free for crowds in cities on the way down. They're just looking for places to like dock the boat
And play.
and
perform.
play, which is pretty awesome.
Totally awesome.
I mean, you're talking about some hippie gypsy pirates coming down river, and we were all talking about the legalities of can you even have a boat? Like, you think you'd have to have it tagged up or something. I don't know. Sounds really cool. I really hope they do make it. They said they've done it in California, Washington, and Oregon maybe. So they've done it 3 times, and it's awesome. When
you got out your phone the other day and read me the text verbatim, I was laughing pretty hard, but at the same time completely interested.
Right?
Like what is going to happen?
You guys remember, God, it must have been close to 15 years ago, there was a ramshackle boat that came down the river, and they had they weren't performing or anything, but there was like an old VW bug on there. There was like a piano, and these are just a bunch of hippies on a raft coming down river. Hey, man, that's pretty awesome, man.
I was going to say, it sounds pretty cool to me, man.
And they're looking for musicians to like join up with them and go with them. And even my wife was just like, it sounds like something you'd be really into. Like, babe, can I leave for 6 weeks and go hang out with these hippies on a raft?
Right. Look,
I guess they lock them through, huh? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's where the legalities came from.
So either they're big enough to go through the lock and dam system, or small enough to get out and walk around. You got to go one or the other.
Well, I think they said during the winter they have to lock up the raft so it does come apart. So yeah, maybe they actually can move it.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn, man, I love it.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Awesome.
Right there in the Mississippi.
Yeah, an adventure for sure.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, I don't know where it's going, but sounds like an adventure for sure.
Well, hopefully people are going down to Jacoby's Arts Center on Saturday and check out the Hideous Gentlemen, Daughters of St. Crispin from Madison, Wisconsin, and 33 on the Needle.
I do appreciate you bringing it back up. I always make the joke with everybody. I was like, yeah, we're going to go in there, and we're going to mention the date, and then we're going to talk about anything else that has nothing to do with why we're here.
Right.
But I love it every time I come in. So
you get me? I was off on a sidetrack story. He said pirate jokes. I'm like, I don't even care anymore.
Bright, shiny lights wherever it goes.
That makes for a good show, right?
Oh, man.
Yeah, nice variety, and we are covering the scene as we go along, believe it or not.
You have been sneaking them in, and I haven't even noticed quite a few of them. What else we got going on Saturday?
And a lot of these guys, they stop by the Alton Music Exchange, so Jared's, chiming in, giving us some, inside info.
No, I can never separate my head from being in a band, doing music, and then the shop. Like, it's really just one thing that I do, and it's just all encompassing.
If it's working right, it all just melds together into one big thing.
Well, it's such a area that everything happens in. He's got a music shop. We practice there.
Yeah.
Play at the conservatory.
Couple bands practice.
I got my
there.
tattoos at the Paisa Body.
Yeah.
Hey,
So it's like
I can't remember the lyrics to this song. Go ahead and tattoo them on my arm here.
So you could be playing the open mic, getting a tattoo, and placing an order at Alton Music Exchange all at the same time. That's multitasking.
All of your music equipment needs. The only thing we don't do, and I tend to just diverge to Halpin, is like people come in with orchestral or big band stuff. I'm like, you know what? Halpin is perfect for you guys. And they also have all the accessories and stuff too, but they specialize in education and stuff, and then they do a great job of it.
Not to mention John Hahn is just a good-looking guy.
He's a very good-looking guy. And Halpin Music has put us on the air now for over 7 years. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Big help.
Thank you so much.
Just like we were talking about Experience Live Music Row, we need those sponsors to help you do a little bit like that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Because if you've ever listened to this show, the station might have got rid of us if we didn't have that sponsor.
We're gonna start changing every week's. Sponsors gonna be dropping like the Dana Carvey show. We're like, hey, we're brought to you by Mug Root Beer this week.
Make it one season. I don't think we made the whole season.
Right.
That's what Matt Van Voorhis is trying to get us to do. He signed up for 3 more months, and he's like, hey, can you mention like other businesses I like?
Yeah, instead of mentioning mine, I'm just gonna tell you.
That's a nice guy, right?
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
And what were we going to mention this week?
It wasn't
Smart Choice Auto.
That's right. I was going to say Mr. Donuts, and I would have been way wrong.
They have a car at Smart Choice that's full of donuts. It's actually a tuba.
A tuba full of donuts.
That's full of
Donuts in the back seat.
We do fake news here.
We've been dreaming up this tuba full of donuts for weeks now, and it hasn't materialized itself yet. But
talk about it. You put it out in the ether, it'll come to you.
Absolutely, man.
I always think
if the ether comes to me,
what about? Does it have to be a tuba? I mean, can a trumpet or a trombone or?
Yeah, it could be anything.
Sousaphone.
Some sweet sounds.
We just figured the tuba would hold the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And John Belushi, I keep thinking of every time I bring up Little Chocolate Donuts. Because he trained for the Olympics in that old Saturday Night Live.
Oh, yeah.
I ran a lot of miles training for the Olympics and ate a lot of chocolate donuts.
We do a lot of the same, though. We come in and talk about our bands and then we end up just talking about other bands and trying to promote other bands as much as you can.
Yeah.
I mean, there's such a long list of all the people you want to talk. I mean, is Scott Michelle not on there? They're not playing anywhere. They're always playing somewhere.
They might be
Dana
doing
Anderson. He's always playing somewhere.
Private Action maybe this weekend for them.
Yeah,
Usually Scott and Michelle are somewhere on this list, but
Let's see what we got for Saturday.
All right,
we got,
let's see. Let's
we
do
got
it.
pianos down at Ragin' Cajun. We got Naked Soul and Borderline at Fast Eddie's. Plastic Kings out at Third Shoot, 9 o'clock. Doppelganger, there's a name, 7
Nice.
to 11 at Baker's and Hale and Godfrey. Soulshine Groove out of Laux Brickhouse in Bethalto. Flipside at the Refinery Bar in Wood River. Sit Down and Get Down in Wood River as well at the Pump House.
All right.
Also, Darien Rowe. Yeah.
Arian Rowe. She's another great one.
Jinx, you owe me some Coke.
Playing down
Jinx, you owe me a
at,
Coke.
at Sparky's in South Rock Center, which I believe Josh Witt from Spilly Nelson does a booking for them.
He does, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we did. We, over the
We
summer.
booked through him.
Over the summer, we did a lot of acoustic duo stuff. It was, and we did, Sparky's, cool place.
Nice.
And it's early too for the people who don't want to stay out late. It's like
2 to 6.
2
2
to
to
6,
6.
yeah.
Which is like, it's pretty early.
Last time we did was outside too, and they have a little nice outside area.
That's a real cool spot.
Yeah.
At 2 to 6, you get that after work crowd
Right?
coming off the refinery there.
Yeah.
Josh
That's the
Witt-
only bar that's open at like
Yeah.
4 in the morning or
Because
something.
people
Like they
getting
open
off
up
work.
because people get off work and they actually have
Yeah.
a crowd that comes in. Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, I know, right?
They serve up a lot of food.
Sparky's in South Rock Center. Also going on Saturday up in Jerseyville, Jim and Carl, what's that, Megger? Yeah, from 7 to 10, George's Local Brew. Terry back at Grafton Winery. Jake Weber at the Bloody Bucket Saloon on Saturday. And Lanny and Julie at the Foundry Public House in Edwardsville. Butch Moore playing 5 to 9 at Viva La Fiesta in Edwardsville.
Nice.
Mexican, you get tacos in Butch Moore.
Viva la fiesta.
Yeah.
There you go.
I bet you got to like Flock being right there by you guys too.
Black's cool. Yeah, over the
Yeah.
summer went out there a handful of times. Got lunch. It's a cool
Bands
spot, man.
playing and
We haven't played there yet. You want to play there this year?
At Flock?
Flock, give us a call.
No flocking way.
Hey, no flocking, what?
Flock of seagulls?
yeah.
Oh, dude.
But that's a nice little addition to your area, especially
It
for you
is.
guys that are down there all the time. You
It
got
is,
a
man.
big choice of food now.
Yeah, I mean, Carl's Pizza's a big one because it's like 2-minute walk, brown bag for sure. I mean, it's just all
Yeah.
good food. you know.
Germania's got food too, don't they? Have some? Or maybe it's
Yeah,
like cakes,
food, coffees and stuff. Well, there's a. Oh, forgive me. I went and got a quiche this morning.
Nice.
There's a pastry place. I feel so bad. I'll make it up to you. I'm sorry. I got a
Luciana
quiche this morning,
or-
right on the corner.
Yeah.
Right on the corner.
Anyway, we'll say it's just a great pastry joint down there.
That pause there was what we call a brain fart.
Yeah. The quiche was delicious. I don't know.
I call it a
quiche
comfortable
one
silence.
It's a much quieter,
We got Doug Klein in the band. We're all good with comfortable silences.
much quieter flatulization than Andre the
Then
Giant.
Andre the Giant, yeah.
What else is going on?
We got Strings and Keys playing 7 to 10 p.m. at Lyle's Tavern in Maryville. Cross the line, 7 to 11 at the Cabin at Judy Creek in Glen Carbon. Down and Dirty's at Patrick starting at 9:30 on Saturday. Patrick's in Granite City down there. Also in Granite City at Tegan's Pub, the American Originals going until midnight. And
5 Point Plan.
5 Point Plan at Hooch and 16's also
Oh,
in Granite
Hooch.
City. So there you
Yeah,
go.
new owners
Yeah.
there, and
From
I
the
seen
fame
a-
of Turner and Hooch.
I seen a post
Great.
recently. One
I
of the
remember
bands
the
had
movie very
played down there at Hooch and 16, and they were just going on about how nice the owners are, how great the food is, and you know how bands are, man. That must have been a good gig.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Right.
they got some grub and they got some
Place is a
loving.
staple, man. I grew up in Grand City, and it's been there a long, long time. Pop used to shoot pool in there. Still got pool tables in there. They built that overpass there,
Yeah.
and they didn't move. They're like,
Yeah.
no, you can go ahead and build it. We're right here. They built it right next to it, man.
We're going nowhere.
We're going nowhere.
Oh, man. Also, we got Rocker Box at Deutz Village Inn.
Yep, and
Deutsch is
Jingle,
another staple.
Yeah.
definitely love
Pontoon
that place.
Beach.
Jingle Jam 3 is going
Jingle
on this
Jam?
Saturday. Yep.
Right
That's Kurt Copeland.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Here's your Scott and Misha, I'll bet you. No? Not on this one. Kurt Copeland, Steve and Rhonda Evans, String Dream, Scott Marlin, and Merge 5. It's free at Old Herald in Collinsville, and the proceeds benefit the Collinsville Food Bank.
There you go.
I see Charity. Scott and Michelle are the greatest.
They're the best. They're absolutely the best. We are playing with them January 21st at Jacobys in Granite City. I haven't been there in a long time, but Jeremiah Johnson's coming to town, and we're gonna somehow squeeze. I don't know how they're gonna squeeze all the bands in order and do it, whatever. But yeah, there's a bunch of bands doing. It's gonna be a good time.
Nice.
You tag your it.
Yeah. Maybe
It
it's
will
a
be a
bad one.
good time. Jacob Myers is legendary.
Like 1929. Like, but there's always stories growing
that
up
far
that
back?
it was like my grandma used to go there, or my great grandma used to go there after weddings and funerals. It was like the place you went after either one.
Weddings and funerals.
Yeah, I've played there after weddings.
It was,
I've seen fights break out where bridesmaids smashing beer bottles over people's heads, and you just keep playing and smile.
Did they actually smash, or they just
It
knocked
didn't
the
break. No, that one
They never
particular
did,
time
man.
it didn't break.
Never did.
And people don't realize how hard it is to smash a beer
Yeah,
bottle
I
on
know,
his head,
man.
or just one period. And no, you heard an audible, and we're playing at Valley, and you hear a ow, like you're his
Ow! Yeah.
Oh man, that's
It
funny.
was Granite City wedding.
As long as you're not throwing him at the band,
Right. What's the chicken wire for?
chicken wire for
The good old
The Blues
boys. We
Brothers.
are the good old boys. I grew up playing on that stage. Played there probably
There
more
you
than
go.
anywhere else.
It's a cool stage too. They got a lot of cool memorabilia and stuff there.
I hit my head on that they have a street light up there.
Yeah.
Red, yellow, and green.
So you grew up in Granite City. Did you go to Stages?
No, I would say that was
Little
right
before your
before my
time.
time.
Yeah.
It was,
You were in Edwardsville for a while too.
I was in Edwardsville
yeah.
for a while, which is great. Staggering was the home there.
Man, Stages was a fantastic.
Where was that
place.
located exactly?
close to the track.
I was going to say it wasn't.
Everything's close to a track.
I'm talking about the racetrack.
Oh, the
actually.
racetrack.
The big racetrack,
Okay, yeah.
not Tri-City. The other
Oh,
one.
the actual.
I couldn't think of the name of it.
Big one.
Yeah, the drag strip.
I've heard many stories that one and maybe a grain silo. Was there another one called the? A couple of times tell me about a couple different places over the years where all the bands used to go to.
The thing I remember about Jacob Myers is when we started this show, people going, "You can play original music there," which is a big deal.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
The same with Stagger Inn. It was just like, because there's so many bars, they don't want anything to do with you if you're not. So you just lie and say, yeah, sure, we play all
one
kinds of
cover
covers.
in
You
with
go up
your
there and
originals.
just do exactly what you're going to do anyway.
Yeah, that's what Pat Liston would tell us.
Yeah.
He's
Played
like-
with, we played with Pat all over the summer, didn't we?
Yeah.
And the Anthology Band? Wasn't that Pat? Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Nice guy.
He told me years ago that even back in like the 70s, the club owners would say, "Well, what was that third song on that set?" And if it was an original, he'd always say, "Oh, that was a Three Dog Night song."
They just, because they
Couldn't
don't
tell
know.
the horns were
And if the
missing.
crowd's having a good time and they're spending money, the owners aren't paying much
Yeah.
attention. They don't care that
Right.
much.
That's all
you
that
know.
matters.
Yep, there you
All
go.
right, well, it looks like we're out of time, and
All right.
don't forget to get down to Jacobys on Saturday. Check out these gentlemen.
Yeah,
Hideous gentlemen.
these hideous gentlemen.
Looking forward to seeing everybody.
33 on the needle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Todd Keys survived the Autumn Clock reunion, and we'll go right back at it.
Right back at it.
And all the way from Madison, Wisconsin.
Who are the daughters of St. Crispin?
Yes, ask him if he's a real saint. I don't believe Pigpen. So.
The patron saint of women's footwear.
There's got to be. I mean, there's one for everything in there.
Well, everything was taken already, Like, there's only so many things left,
That's right. Just like band
I'm
names.
the patron saint
Yeah.
of origami, of not very good origami.
It's just saying of origami done by your 7-year-old daughter.
Oh man.
She tried,
Well,
She's trying hard.
We're all trying. That's all,
Yeah,
that's
right.
all we can do. So,
It's always
all right. Well, hey,
amazing.
big thanks to Jared and Rob and the Double D's who aren't here. Doug and Dave, of the
Guys.
Hideous Gentlemen. Thanks for everything you got going on, man.
Same to you guys. Really appreciate having us down. Let us hang out and
Yeah,
talk
that's
about
cool.
anything and everything.
Head to your digital download and check out the latest release from Hideous Gentlemen, Imitation of Myself.
Yep.
That's number 4, right? There's three volumes, and then
volume 5 came out before.
Oh, did it?
Volume
That's
4.
right.
We kind of did a Star Wars thing there, incidentally.
So
4
or 5.
Record's been doing good for us this year.
That one was the Phantom Menace, and
so we can't just stop yet because I remember now. I suddenly have a memory. I don't have a whole lot of them. Right?
Something sparked.
Something just sparked when he talked about your release. Where last time you were on, he brought up your videos, and he asked me, "Have you seen the videos?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't seen the videos." Now I've seen the videos. Okay, and I'm going to tell you what, great job.
Oh, thanks, man.
The two that stick out to me are the dogs.
All right, holding cards, holding cards.
But my favorite is in the art studio, the one shot.
Yeah, that was a blast. That was a Mike Snyder's Cooliverse.
Yes.
I'll tell you
that was a hoot.
That the way that video is shot, the way that you guys put it together, what you guys did to make it happen, all great job.
Yeah.
Hats off to you boys.
I think we got like $1 million YouTube dollars off that one. I think.
Oh man,
which
is equal to like a million regular doll hairs.
That's right.
So.
But that video was done by Max.
Max Heberling did that one, and it's fantastic. He does a lot of the film work for us, and he's a great guy.
He recorded something for us at the Conservatory.
Yeah, he's always down and helpful with that kind of stuff. That stuff's so important nowadays. I mean, you release a song just audio, almost falls on deaf ears. So it's like you got to have something to back it up visually.
Absolutely,
so.
and it's I've watched a lot of local music videos, and there are a few that have grabbed me. And you guys are one of them. I mean, like I don't know if you've seen the Hayes Bond one.
That one's fantastic.
That one's like a whole nother level.
That is so professional. Man, I was like, oh my, that is
exactly.
And that's so great, and a great song too. Devil's Hands, I think was the name of the song.
Angel in Disguise.
Angel in Disguise.
But the song was good, but the cinematography and the video they put together was almost another level. But man, when I watched that. Gosh, what was it? The one with the art studio? I forget the name of it. I'm sorry.
That one's
Michael Snyder's.
That was By and By.
By and By.
Yeah.
When I saw the
Which is off the last track.
When I saw the By and By video, I had to immediately start it over and watch it again because I was like, "Whoa, what just happened here?"
3 takes, I think.
Yeah,
3 takes maybe.
Yeah,
nice.
We kind of did it. We decided how to do things when we showed up at that night. We kind of had a feeling of how it was going to be, but. It was still the choreography because you had to like sneak behind the camera to be in a different position.
Yes,
while the camera
believe me,
don't give away all the secrets. Movie magic.
Teleported like Star Trek, and
you were going to get kicked out of the Magicians Union.
There were secret doors all over the place.
No, it was very obvious that as the camera passed you, and as soon as you were off screen, you need to get your butt to the next spot because it's going to be coming back around you, and you need to be doing something else.
And you definitely need to be getting out Saturday night to Jacoby's Arts Center and checking out Daughters of St. Crispin from Madison, Wisconsin, along with these guys, Hideous Gentleman and 33 on the Needle. Also check them out at Riverbend Records.
Yep, December 9th.
December 9th,
right.
7 p.m., I believe, 7 to 9.
Yeah. We have a guest waiting on us.
Oh, we better get
Jesus
going.
Christ Supercar. There's a name.
Nice.
Yeah. So all right. Well, everybody, thanks for listening. Everybody, get out and support local music and art.